Hello, I'm Eric,
Nelson?
Nathaniel.
and this is Coffee Unfiltered. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Move this a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't really have a choice. You locked the door and
Yeah, let's do that.
That's pretty good. Pretty good, Eric.
Pretty good coffee. You like it?
You do a good job when you want to.
Yeah, I rarely want.
That is the truth.
This week I read this article and I thought I'd gauge your guys' interest in this.
All right.
I'll read the headline to you, and then I'll kind of explain what it is. A team of researchers, this is coming from newengineering.cau.ac.kr. A team of researchers have developed a wearable robot that can assist with walking and running. The exosuit reduced the wearer's metabolic costs of walking by 9.3% and running by 4% on average compared to when they were walking and running without the device. What it is a kind of a band that goes around your stomach and your lower back. It doesn't go to the chest, just stomach and lower back, and then it's connected to some bands that go around your thighs. And it looks like there's like a small motor on the back that helps power your legs. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Sounds like there's good potential there.
So I think it's really good for like rehabilitation,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if you can adjust the amount of which power from the machine is controlling, so you can slowly rehabilitate people. And that way they're not stuck on treadmills. They can actually walk around.
Are we heading to a future where this can be used to help paraplegics walk again?
I was wondering that as well.
Like the machine is doing all the walking and moving for them, just controlled by electrodes or something in that brain.
Yeah, so I don't think this is controlled by electrodes.
But I mean, eventually.
But eventually?
Yeah.
Maybe. I could see that eventually happening. So instead of replacing your body with metal to become a cyborg, you could just do an exoskeleton to help power your limbs that are otherwise not functioning. I could see that being a possibility.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Stephen Hawking should invest in this.
Stephen Hawking?
Yes.
Yeah. Wait, no.
No, he's
Who
not
died?
dead. No.
Are you referring to Elon Musk?
No, Stephen Hawking.
He's dead.
He died
He died?
like a year or two ago, right?
Really?
Yeah. You didn't hear about this?
No.
Yeah, he passed.
Did not know
Like,
that.
you're talking about the
Wheelchair
genius in the
bound.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
No, he passed like a year or two ago.
Oh, well, never mind.
I can't believe you didn't
Too
know
little
that.
too late. I did not know. I thought he was still alive.
Yeah, no, he passed. He went to be with the stars, as the astrophysics say.
Yeah,
Well,
I think he needed more than an exoskeleton, though.
I mean,
Yeah, he had like some serious disability.
Yeah.
But some serious geniuses.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he already had the whole computer talking mechanism, so all he need to do was just something to help him walk, and he could use that.
I'm sorry, I have to drink your coffee.
I'm guarding it.
She loves to rip my books off the bookshelf.
Really?
No, she doesn't really do the books, but she'll like rip my sunglasses and stuff off.
I
That's
knew.
not cool.
It's really not. But yeah, the exoskeleton, I think it's really cool.
Yeah,
It's a good idea.
I mean, if it can help, people who need the help walking, yeah,
And obviously, this is like in the early phases.
of
Like,
course, yeah.
In 5 years, it could really reduce the amount of energy that we expel to walk.
Yeah, it'd be great. Even for old people, be able to just have more independence for longer.
It's like when your body's starting to decay, when you reach the later years in life, and then you can put something like this on and still have full maneuverability. I think that's.
But I mean, that would be good. But what are the chances that human beings being as lazy as we are, we get to the point where we just have it doing it for us anyway?
So that's the danger.
Then we're like Wall-E, the humans in Wall-E, just
Doing nothing.
and
Just sitting on a
floating
suitcase
chair,
parked driving around the
yeah.
airport.
Spoilers, I haven't seen Wall-E.
You're not missing a whole lot.
Seriously.
Really?
I didn't like Wall-E. So look, the robot's cute.
Yeah.
But for the first hour, nothing is happening, man. He's just recycling some trash.
I'll have to watch it when Disney Plus comes
So
out.
you seriously haven't seen? I thought
You
were
really
joking.
haven't seen it? You haven't seen Wall-E?
No.
Oh, I thought you had seen it. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a good movie. Like it's a good movie. I didn't particularly enjoy it, but that's mainly because not a whole lot happened for a while.
So there's actually.
But later on, whenever it got interesting, it got very interesting.
Yeah. You had to get past the whole, no actual talking for the first hour.
Yeah.
But there's actually a fan theory that says Wall-E caused what you saw at the beginning of the movie. The mountains, the trash heap, and everything.
Mm.
But we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get into that after.
Yeah, we can get
Nathaniel's seen this 10-year-old movie.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be on Disney Plus, so I'll watch it there.
Not a sponsor.
Not sponsored.
Unfortunately.
We've had this conversation before, and I'd like to maybe delve into it. We'll do a subject change and maybe get back to science later. Go get him. It's a little more fun with more people, but we can do us three. What are your top 3 favorite fast food joints?
Back to
boy.
And I bring this up because I know Nelson's answers, and one of them's a little controversial.
Just a little.
So I'll go into mine first.
Just a little.
And I would like to preface that I try not to eat a whole lot of fast food, but when I do, I'm pretty much going to one of these 3 places. Moe's and Chipotle would not be considered fast food in my book.
I was going to ask that,
I
so
agree.
thank you.
Yeah. Mainly because it's just a different type. I would not consider that. I consider that more like a bar or something.
Right.
Fair enough.
I'll go first. Number 1 for me is good old Chick-fil-A. I think it's the best. I feel like I'm eating the healthiest when I go to Chick-fil-A compared to other places. So for that, I'd put that number 1. Number 2, I'm probably going to go with Char Grill. Maybe it's because I'm close to the one down the road. But it's okay. It's not bad. It's kind of like a diner feel with burgers and fries. Not bad. You been? You guys been? It's a North Carolina thing. There's not a lot of them.
I've actually never been to one before.
Okay. Very good. It's a little pricey. Number 3 for me, Burger King. I love. Now, I would put Rally's or Checkers number 2, but they don't have those in North Carolina. But if we're going across the country, I'd go with Rally's or Checkers number 2 for sure. Okay. Number 3 for me, Burger King, man. The Whopper is just something of a masterpiece. You get that thing without onions, and it's...
Have you tried their Impossible Whopper yet?
No, what's the Impossible Whopper?
The one where it's a patty, but it's no beef, all veggies.
Y'all are both crazy.
What's the point?
It's actually really because the point is the point is it tastes like meat, even though it's not. And I've had it.
Is it veggie meat?
No,
is it a veggie burger. Or?
It's not a veggie burger. It's they use plant protein or something like that.
It's a veggie burger.
It's a veggie burger.
Is
it still a patty?
Burger. Yeah, it's still a patty.
It's a veggie burger.
Okay, veggie burger.
It's a veggie.
But it tastes like an actual burger. Beef patty.
I'd give it a go.
I've tried it, and I will tell you hands down, it tastes like a beef patty. You cannot tell the difference.
I'd give it a go, but
I'm good, thanks.
But I'm telling you can't tell the difference. When you're eating it, it tastes like a regular patty.
I'm not opposed to it. I'll try it one day.
I'll stick with regular meat. Thank you.
But I will go. I'm gonna save you for last, Nelson, because I know you're number 1.
It's not that controversial.
It's controversial.
Oh my!
It's quite controversial if it's what I think it is.
Daniel, how about you throw yours out?
Sure. So my number 1 would. I know it's probably generic at this point, but my number 1 would probably be Chick-fil-A as well. It's just kind of in its own category, its own tier. So that would be number 1 to get the easy one out of the way. My number 2 would be who's over here. My number 2 would be Raising Cane's chicken fingers, which isn't quite as well known, but it's still sort of a national chain. Big in Louisiana, but they're definitely.
We have one in Indiana.
Yeah,
but it's like an hour from my home.
Yeah,
are they in North Carolina? Because I've never heard of them before.
I have never seen them.
They're just slowly expanding. Not There's one in Greenville, I think, at ECU on
Okay.
campus. That's the first one. They're slower to come in North Carolina because we've already got Bojangles and PDQ here. But I think they're going to eventually. But anyway, so that's number 2. Highly recommended if you get a chance to try it. Their chicken fingers are amazing. Their sweet tea and lemonade are also both amazing. So that's number 2, and then number 3 would probably be either Panda Express, if that counts as fast food. It's borderline, or Cookout.
Okay, Cookout's fast food, but Panda Express, I've never.
Cookout's definitely fast food.
Yeah, but I've never had Panda Express fresh. I've always got it from my grocery shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've never been there.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I've never actually been to the restaurant.
It's quite good.
I've heard of it. I've never been.
But if you don't count that, then Cookout.
Cookout's interesting. I'm like, sometimes it's good, and other times I'm just like, this is not great.
So I don't really like their pulled pork because it's more like I think they use North Carolina's imitation of barbecue for that. But I think their hamburgers are fantastic, and then their milkshakes
When they're
are
cheap,
also pretty good.
Oh
yeah, they're dirt cheap. It's crazy how cheap they are.
Isn't that concerning to you? But they're so cheap.
Not when it tastes as good as it does.
Nelson,
Okay. So we've had this conversation before.
you want to start with number 3?
Yeah, I'll start with
your way
number
up to
We'll
the
go in
winner.
opposite.
So I've changed my number 3 to my first.
What?
Yeah, and that's only because I've forgotten this restaurant when we were talking about it. And then I went home to my wife about it, and she said, "Well, what about this place? White Castle.
Really?
White Castle is number 3.
So we have White Castles in Indiana. Do you guys have White Castle? You have Crystals in Louisiana?
They're not even in North Carolina. I have to get them whenever I go up north.
Yeah.
We have neither.
They're called sliders.
Mm.
What they serve, little burgers, for those of you who don't know.
Delicious.
The phrase is, slide in, slide out.
Delicious.
I had a friend who, so for those of you who don't know, you get a crave case. 20 of them, 30 of them. I think it's 30. You get a crave, it's like $50, you get 30 of them. I had a friend who worked there, and he had a 30-minute lunch, and he said he ate an entire crate case on his lunch.
I could see it.
So he pounded 30 of them.
I could see
Yeah,
it.
I mean, they're not
big.
tiny.
Yeah, they're like
They're
this big.
I eat like 4 and I'm done.
Really? I could eat about 10 of them.
I kind of just get tired of it. Like, I eat 4 and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
I think it's because I don't eat them. I don't eat it often because I only get it when I go up north. I could eat them all day.
Okay.
Now, if they were local, if they ever get them in North Carolina, then I may get to that point. But right now, yeah, I can eat them all day long.
Okay.
So White Castle is number 3. Number 2, Arby's.
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 Arby's
2.
is a good
number
choice.
2. I love their roast beef.
So I agree that it's good, but
But
it's not number 2.
it's number 2 for me.
You want to tell us about your special sandwich from there?
Yes. I
Now,
love it.
let me phrase. The curly fries are phenomenal.
Amazing.
All right, that's the best thing at Arby's. Is the curly fries.
You gotta flip it up. You get tired of straight fries all the time.
I have an issue just going to a place and getting a roast beef sandwich.
Why?
Roast
Why?
beef in the fridge.
Yeah, but in that same vein, you got burgers in the fridge.
Their patties are also, or their buns are also pretty good.
Yeah.
The same reason like I don't go to sub places.
And
But
Arby's sauce too.
I have a hard time eating a sandwich. Ordering a sandwich.
That sounds like a personal problem.
That's not.
But no, special sandwich he brought up. This is the only thing that I can think of that actually counts as a secret menu item. The meat mountain at Arby's.
Describe to the listeners at home.
Meat mountain. It is not on their menu when you walk into the store, but it is on their menu online. So I guess it's sort of kind of secret, not really. I don't know if that counts as a secret menu item or not. But it's a $10 sandwich. And basically what they do is every cut of meat they offer in Arby's is on the sandwich. From the chicken strips to the roast beef to the ham, whatever cut of meat they offer is on this one sandwich. And it's literally out this high. You can go to Arby's.com and look at it and search it. It's a legit sandwich and it's delicious. It's nothing but bread, meat, butter.
They put sauce on it too? Like
Yeah,
a
there's some
normal-
Arby's sauce, yeah.
Okay. Those of you at home, Meat Mountain.
Meat Mountain is delicious. It's wonderful. You've had it before, right?
I ate part of one. I question people who say they've eaten all of one.
I've eaten 2 of them already now. I mean, they
You ate one in
sound,
one setting?
Yeah, I ate one in one setting, and then I went back like the next week and got another.
I don't know how. It's a lot.
It's delicious.
All right, hit us.
And number
Your
one, which
number
apparently
one.
is this big controversial pick. I don't get it, but I love this restaurant. Hardee's or Carl's Jr.'s if you're on the West Coast. What is wrong with Hardee's / Carl's Jr.? Tell me.
How?
What do you mean how?
How
What
is
is
that
wrong
your
with
favorite?
their thick burgers are amazing. Where else are you gonna find anywhere with a burger that delicious?
So
Anywhere.
I will voice my opinion like this. When I was growing up in Indiana, we had one of them. I was about 6 or 7. It shut down.
Well, that's because it was the only one. Apparently,
Nope.
they didn't know what they were doing.
Nope. It shut down for a reason. It did not attract business.
You can't let one store represent the whole chain.
Good food attracts business, Melvin.
You can't let one store affect the whole chain. Yes, it's a national chain, but a store is defined by its employees. You can have good employees that actually can cook the food well in one store, and then down the street, other employees that don't know what they're doing.
I tend to agree, which is why probably every Hardee's should be shut down. And then people can get better food. They can eat at other places.
I don't understand. I love Hardee's. Apparently, I've gotten a lot of flack from this ever since I said this.
When did you realize that this was a bizarre opinion?
The moment I said that, and everyone reacted the way you guys react now.
I don't know that I've ever actually even seen you eat Hardee's.
I have not.
That's because it's not one near the office.
There's one in Wake Forest.
It's not near the office.
Not close enough for me to go in 15 minutes back.
I guess. It's still suspicious.
But Hardee's, I love their breakfast. I love their lunch. I mean, I don't see everyone I know loves Hardee's. Yes, they have breakfast.
Everyone you know, except for like both of us.
Yeah, except for you guys.
And everybody else at work.
Before I started working up here, everyone I know back at home loves Hardee's.
Do y'all have Hardee's up there?
Yes.
Does that concern you?
No, it will concern me for the place I work
Maybe we need
and the people I work with.
Maybe we need to go to this Hardee's near his place. Maybe it's just like this fantabulous place.
I don't know. I'm almost afraid to go.
I mean, yeah, you probably don't want to go to Henderson, but the Hardee's is amazing.
Do they lace it with anything? Is that why?
They might. In Henderson, they might.
You guys are horrible.
Is that why it tastes so good?
Hardee's is delicious. Okay, I stand by that.
So, for the viewers at home who are maybe not from North Carolina and have not heard about Henderson, Nelson, why don't you tell them about the place you live?
Okay, first of all, yes, Henderson has a bad rep. Okay, but it is not. It is the same as any other city. It has its good areas and its bad areas, but generally it has a bad rep. No, that's all. It's no worse than Oakland, California. No worse than Durham, North Carolina.
That's not a high bar to clear.
I'm just saying it's not the worst place in the world to live.
Well, I didn't say it was the worst.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
But it's not great.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, but what place is?
Wake Forest, pretty great.
Raleigh's pretty good. Louisville, Kentucky.
Certain parts of Raleigh.
Louisville, Kentucky. So.
But yeah, those are my 3 choices. I stand by my Hardee's pick.
If you love Hardee's out there.
Hardee's, Carl Jr. lovers, give me a shout. Come on, help me out here. Let them see that it's not just me in this world that love Hardee's.
Remember, this is also the person that likes North Carolina, the thing that shall not be named in association with that. So, take what you will about his opinion.
He's referring to barbecue again, fellas, folks, just so you know.
That which will not be named, that is correct.
So back to science.
Yeah, back to science.
Exoskeletons.
No, I also I was watching a video. I don't remember who. Maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about it. I'm not sure. But apparently on the space station, they grew lettuce.
Really?
Yeah, from seed to leaf,
Hmm.
they grew lettuce in space.
I'm assuming it was edible.
Yeah.
But
But this is huge because I think they'll be able to grow food in space, which means that they can kind of go anywhere. Because once they can figure out a water source, then there's nothing limiting where we can go.
I'm interested in knowing how much radiation was lettuce exposed to.
A lot, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of radiation in space.
So can you eat enough of it to survive on long trips without, radiation poisoning?
I don't know. I think it's still in the early stages, so maybe they have to figure out that, or maybe they had some type of screen that they put over it to dampen the radiation.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I was listening to an interview, speaking of the radiation, they, whenever they're like sleeping on the space station or whatever, like they had a full suit and they had like sunglasses and stuff on because like there's nothing dampening the sun. I think they have tinted windows, but like the radiation is just full on.
I've heard that when they're sleeping at nights, like it's even with their eyes closed because of the amount of radiation coming in, it's like watching a light show even with your eyes closed. So it's hard enough to sleep as it is because you see stuff even with your eyes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's wonderful they grew lettuce in space, but is it safe?
I'm sure that's what they're conducting experiments to see, because they have to be able to survive in space, so they need to find safe ways to make stuff.
True.
And I think they're really excited because they can grow lettuce, and then they can find a way to tap into water on Mars. Then they could, in theory, have their own sustainable resource supply.
If there is, in fact, liquid water.
Well, there's frozen water.
Right,
They have to find a way to liquidize it.
Part of the problem,
and make sure it's not contaminated.
Right, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Some of I don't know that it's pure H2O.
Yeah, that's the real concern. Is space bacteria.
And also, wouldn't it be like really cold where that water is? Could they?
What's frozen? Yeah, it'll be cold.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would think it would be harder to make it in the poles.
I don't know what they're gonna do. Well, they wouldn't land in the poles, but they'd have to do some excursions to gather water.
Maybe some irrigation to have the water come from the poles.
How much smaller is Mars than Earth?
I don't know. It's definitely smaller, but I don't think it's that much smaller.
Yeah, that's why.
It's like the closest planet in our system to our own planet.
I wonder how far they'd have to go for an excursion to the.
Yeah, I don't know. probably pretty far.
Yeah, it could be tough.
Well, I guess the temperature's so cold there anyway.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's already cold enough to not be on the poles.
Yeah.
It could be hard.
Very hard. Dangerous. But I guess people going to Mars will know the danger they get into.
I'm sorry.
That is true.
Any Doctor Who fan, so they'll know why I'm laughing when we're talking about the water on Mars.
I'll take your word for it.
I am not a Doctor Who fan. I'm going to go out there and say it. I'm not a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah, that's what I say. Anyone who's a Doctor Who fan, they will know.
I'm an on again, off again Doctor Who fan. I like Matt Smith as the Doctor. That's about all I know.
Who's the first Doctor?
No.
Who was the first one in the reboot?
First one in reboot was Eccleston. Chris Pratt.
He was great.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He was great.
Did you actually watch it? Or you just
fighting. I watched season 1, and I thought Doctor Who was fantastic. And then near the end of season 1, the Daleks got introduced.
Right.
And then I instantly thought the show was not fantastic.
The Daleks you just have to deal with.
So I will say this.
But the problem is they're a main part of the story, so dealing with them is pretty difficult. And then I quit after season 1. This is the reboot, not like the old 70s or 80s version. This is like the more modern one.
2009.
And then I was like, you know what? I'll try again. I hear it's really good. I started season 2. Like the first or second episode, they were up against like animated dangerous Christmas trees. And then I turned it off and haven't turned it back on.
So that was the holiday special episode.
It was bad.
You can't judge that.
No, it's too late. It happened.
You should watch the Matt Smith version. It's really good.
I say watch Tenet, then go on to Smith. David Tennant.
There are at least
amazing.
a couple episodes of Tenet you definitely want to watch to get context. But
I'm
Not
done with
going
that
back.
show. I'm out. I'm out. I was already on the fence, and that's all that. I'm out.
you're a loss.
You should watch Blink with the David Tennant and then tell me what you think. Before you say,
So
you're
here's the
completely
problem.
out.
People are like, hey, you gotta check out this one good episode.
No.
You gotta check out this one good episode.
I'm
They
not saying this
all
is the
need to be
only.
good.
I'm not saying this is the only good episode, but this is the one that's going to grab your attention.
Nah, I'm out. You lost me.
Shame.
His loss.
I'm out.
It is.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's really hard for me to be in on a show. And it's really hard for me to be in on a movie series.
That's fair.
You have some bizarre entertainment tastes. Tell us a little more about your bizarre entertainment tastes.
Okay, fine. So I read a decent amount of books. I don't read particularly quick, and so I haven't read a lot of books, but I do read fairly consistently. I read a lot of nonfiction. In nonfiction, I like to read mostly theology, particularly writings from like the ancient church fathers. But then I'll also read other stuff like blacksmithing. And on my list of things to read is astronomy, astrophysics for people in a hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Sounds interesting. So that's on my list. In fiction, I read almost exclusively fantasy. I prefer medieval fantasy, but I will branch out from that. But that's my taste. And I write mostly fantasy whenever I'm writing books. Which is all the time, write fantasy. But because of that, and I read and write a lot of serious things, when I watch entertainment, I like it to be funny. I like it to be mostly comedies. So that's mostly what I watch, but that's because I'm getting all the action, adventure, serious stuff from books.
What's your favorite comedy?
The Office is number one. I mean,
Agreed.
it's a perfect show. It's a perfect show.
At
Still
least
near the end.
At least through season 7.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It's a great. I opened number 2, probably Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
It's your cult classic.
I put that as
Hilarious.
number 2. Oh, Misha, what'd you get? I put that as number
Apparently, she
2.
doesn't like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No, apparently not. Number 3 is gonna go to Parks and Recreation. So
I still have yet to finish that.
it's okay. The ending's lackluster.
I started it and I got about halfway through and I just stopped watching it.
The second and third seasons, I think, are the best.
Yeah, I got to like season 4 and then stopped. Season
Yeah.
3 or season 4, one of them. and then
So-
stopped.
Yeah, so that's my entertainment choices. So I don't like a lot of movies because I don't find comedy movies particularly funny, and action and adventure movies bore me for various
It
reasons.
must be a sad, miserable existence.
So what's
I
your
just don't watch movies.
what's your take on movies from books you've read?
I don't think I've ever seen a movie about a book I've
You haven't actually finished Lord of the Rings. I'm outing you.
read. Nope, I couldn't do it. I tried, couldn't do it, and then I couldn't finish Harry Potter. Not because it was bad. It's tough for me when I've seen the movies to go back and read the book because that mystery
Yeah.
of the future is removed.
There's
Even
a
if-
lot in the books that aren't in the movies.
Yeah, but that's still like the overall mystery is still removed. Like I still know Voldemort, he behind it all, and he almost wins. Like you know, like I know what his
Spoiler.
Horcrux is. Yeah, so it's just tough. But I haven't seen any TV shows or movies based off of what I've read. But again, haven't read a lot of books because I'm not a particularly fast reader.
Well, you know, I think some of the books you've read may become movies eventually.
I hope so.
It just may take a while.
I hope so.
Hopefully, you'll still be alive when that happens.
The closest one is probably The Name of the Wind by Pat Rothfuss. That's probably
That is true.
That's probably cool.
Is that going to be a movie or a TV show?
It's a TV show.
I thought that was going to be a movie too.
I don't know. I think they bounce back and forth. I think it's going to be a TV show now because they realize that it's a 1,100 page book, 900 page book.
I just wonder, how are they going to do that? Is it going to be like flashbacks?
I don't know what they're going to do.
Because the book is formatted very uniquely.
Yeah, it's a wonderful book. The formatting is one of the things that makes it so amazing. This is the one I was telling you about.
Yeah. I remember the name.
Okay, for viewers out there who don't know, The Name of the Wind is formatted in a way where this guy is coming to chronicle like this famous hero's life. Oh, Misha, that was not an elegant idea. Really sprawled out there. This chronicler is coming to take account of this guy's life, and so most of the book is written in the first person through the storyteller's life as he tells his story. But then there's interludes throughout it where they go back to third person in the tavern where they're speaking, and you see what's going on there. It's just very well.
Kind of like, have you guys read the book World War Z?
I have not read the book. I heard it's not. I heard that one. The movie's better.
No.
Really? Someone told me the movie was better.
No.
I like the movie.
Movie was good for what it was, but the book is
I thought the ending
orders of magnitude better.
I thought the ending failed.
For the movie?
Yeah.
Well, that was only part one.
Well, no.
Theoretically, there should be a part two and possibly.
No, the reason why the ending failed is because it was redone after the movie was already finished. The movie was supposed to end completely differently.
How was it supposed to end? Because it seems so.
Right, there was all this build up and everything.
And then it just ends.
After that plane crash when he goes to the CDC. Not CDC, the WHO. That's because the plane crash was originally supposed to crash in Russia, and they're supposed to actually end with this large battle between humans and zombies that he takes part in Russia.
That sounds crazy.
Exactly. But imagine all these set pieces up until then. You've got all these high octane set pieces leading up to this battle, after another, until then it was recut for whatever reason, and they just ended up using the one with him in the WHO.
But I think it is meant to be there. I don't know that there's going to be at this point, but they were originally supposed to be like a second and third movie.
Yeah, they're supposed to. No, there is supposed to be another movie supposedly, but this one's going to be actually tied close to the book. What makes the book interesting and why I brought it up compared to the storytelling in The Name of the Wind, the book basically does the same thing. It's about this one reporter who goes around collecting stories. The book takes place after the zombie apocalypse, after we've won against the zombies. And it's basically this reporter trying to chronicle how it started and, how the turning point and the cleanup. And it's basically him going in each chapter is another story. It's like an interview from someone he's interviewing, but they all tie in together to tell the story of how it started, how it ended.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And like I said, and that's why it reminds me of what you did.
And there were still mysteries from the first movie, because if you noticed in the movie, they never actually showed where Patient Zero came from.
Right. And I think, if I remember correctly, they do explain that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Which theoretically would have been explained in the future.
Have you read the book?
I've just read about it.
I recommend you guys read the book. It's amazing. And I love the way they tell the story. Like I said, each chapter is an interview with a different person that connects with the previous one somehow to explain the story, to explain the rise and fall of the zombie apocalypse. I love it.
World War Z.
I love it.
You think that's ever going to happen? Zombie apocalypse?
I think it's a passing fad.
I think.
No, I'm just talking.
So
the idea of it, could it ever take place?
I think yes and no. There may be a type of zombie-like uprising, but it won't be the zombies the dead come back to life.
No.
If in my idea of it, have you ever seen 28 Days Later?
Mm-hmm.
In that one, they're not really zombies; they're people infected by a virus, the rage virus. I can see something like that scenario, But at the same time, I don't see it ending the world. And it's mainly because of the fact that we have all this zombie lore. If something would ever actually happen, people would basically know how to deal with it. And the reason why I say this is because there's already drugs now, like the whole bath salt space heating incident, that can cause people to, for those who don't know, who probably don't remember, some years ago there was a guy that was caught eating another guy's face in Florida because he was high on bath salt.
To be clear, that's not the name of a drug.
Like the actual bath.
He was
salts.
high on bath salts.
So there's already chemicals out there that can cause people. Yeah.
No, it's the name of a drug.
No. He was high on bath salts. It wasn't a drug. The actual bath salts. He was. I think he was huffing it or sniffing it or something like that. And that's what.
But he was using it like a drug.
Right.
It was.
But it wasn't a drug though. It was. I mean, would you call like kids were huffing paint? Would you call paint a drug?
What?
I mean, kids were huffing paint at one point. Would you call paint a drug because they were huffing it? They were using it like a drug.
That's fair.
Yeah. I just didn't want viewers out to be confused, like think there was some bath salt drug that they hadn't heard of. This wasn't a drug.
So
it was literally bath salts.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is there are already things out there that can give zombie-like, have zombie-like zombie-like effects. If someone were to potentially mass produce it, or whatever chemical is in bath salts that cause it, and release it upon the population, like for all I know, she sprayed out of an airplane, then yeah, I think it's possible to have a zombie-like uprising, but it wouldn't be the dead coming back to life, looking for brains.
It'd be like a bioweapon.
Exactly.
Nathaniel, your thoughts?
No to actual zombie apocalypse. I could see a scenario like Nelson mentioned happening though. But then I think you're getting outside the realm of actual zombie apocalypse.
Well, that's why I use 28 Days Later, because in that one they weren't actual zombies, they were people affected by a virus.
Yeah, so I think like some sort of.
Well, in World War Z they were affected by a virus too, right?
No.
Patient Zero had a virus, right?
But it still caused the dead to come back to life.
Oh.
Yeah. You die and then come back.
Yeah.
Okay. Whereas in 28 Days Later, the infected did not die.
They didn't die. They just became so rage-induced, so angry that they were basically tearing each other apart.
So that
same thing with the Crazies. Came out a few years ago.
Okay. And then in that point, Nathaniel, you say that you're moving outside of a zombie and more in just a mindless rage thing.
Well, and like a virus.
Yeah.
It's like theoretically there could be a cure, but in the moment you would probably have to
treat it like a zombie and shoot for the head. Treat it like a zombie.
Well, I think in that scenario you wouldn't necessarily have to shoot for the head.
Well,
as long as you like hit vital organs, if it works like regular, we're talking about non-science fiction, so I think you wouldn't necessarily have to shoot for the head.
I mean, I would say so, because if it's something like the rage virus or the bath salts incident, even shooting vital organs. I mean,
well, then you
wouldn't have to shoot for the head to kill them, but you would need to shoot to kill, basically.
If you're talking about something though that's allowing them to stay animate even after they would normally die.
Yeah, then we're getting into zombie territory.
Well, but if not a zombie, that's a parasite. Then you're not actually even talking about the human themselves.
True.
It's something taking control of them.
True. But what I'm saying is, when I say treat it like a zombie apocalypse, the most effect, you would basically have to shoot to kill. I mean, you could shoot to disable, but you would need to kill them. The most effective way to kill them is a shot to the head.
Oh yeah,
it's
definitely the most effective.
So I mean, you would treat it as a zombie apocalypse, in that yes, you shoot for the head, not to but to as the most effective way to kill. So they don't keep trying to chart. You miss, you hit a leg or something, and keep coming after you. So yeah, like I said, a zombie-like apocalypse, yes. A true zombie apocalypse, no.
So I don't think either one can happen.
You don't think so?
And I'll say why. The second one, they're dead. They're not coming back to life.
Obviously.
I don't think we'll ever even encounter a parasite that moves around in its host like some type of humanoid.
No.
I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, gosh, we do not want to be in that world, because if a parasite's that intelligent or sentient, then it's not going to stop it humans. Like it could take control of anything and exist, and it would be horrible.
Right.
So no, I don't think that's ever going to happen. The zombie-like situation, I also do not think will happen.
And why is that?
In the situation where the bath salts, even if you find the strand that causes the brain to act the way it did, and you somehow weaponize it as a bioweapon, it was a passing effect. He was not augmented like that forever. And so you could outlast it, or it will come and go. You drop the weapon, yeah, it might be horrible, there might be millions of people, or like in war, you could hit a whole trench, and like in World War I, you hit a whole trench, and then they're all going to go crazy. But again, that's a small group. It's not going to be the whole world. And there's no benefit to doing it worldwide, because even if you were the ruler who decided to do that, essentially you're just dropping a nuclear weapon, because everyone is going to kill each other. And then you're in charge of nothing, because you have no one.
Well, if we're talking in a hypothetical situation here, I mean, of course we're talking.
Yeah, we're talking hypothetical. We're talking about extracting
a rage-inducing
from bath salts.
Right.
So,
if someone had the technology to do that, wouldn't they also find a way to make it last longer?
Sure, you could last longer, but I don't think you'll ever find the point where it'll last indefinitely.
I mean, it's possible.
And if you last longer, there's also risk. I don't know if you could do longer without it also being more potent. So you could actually cause permanent damage to the host.
But, I mean, that's what you.
Which isn't necessarily.
That's what you will be wanting to do. If you're weaponizing, you want to do something.
But I don't know that being able to precisely damage the brain in a way that makes a person insane with a chemical weapon seems very impossible.
I would say improbable, not impossible.
Well, like the difficulty without damaging something else would just be. I mean, it's so hard.
I mean, it just depends on what else you would do.
Well, I don't think they would care about damaging other things.
Well, as long as they cause this rage.
Yeah, but if part of the other stuff gets rid of motor function, then the entire plan of weaponizing it becomes useless. So, like, you can't get rid of the things that are needed for you to become a
obviously, it would
machine.
require some trial and error. And in this theoretical scenario, these evil people that are coming up with it would presumably have human test subjects.
To find the perfect way to do it.
I'm still going to say it's not going to last forever, and so I don't think
no, it wouldn't last forever.
No, you also said, why would you do it? You would essentially be the king of nothing. You may just have someone who is like the Joker from our previous conversations. They don't care about being the king. They just want to cause chaos.
But I think
I don't know if those
people exist.
Yeah,
I mean, there might be.
I'm trying to not get the hate from the internet.
I don't know if people exist on that scale that could do that kind of thing. But I don't know about
the always a motivation.
I don't know about the king of nothing because, for instance, if someone from Europe or the Middle East or Asia or whatever were to do the zombie virus or whatever over the U.S., they would be just fine. It would be isolated to that continent.
True.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever going to be a bacteria that causes a zombie issue with the brain, because
at least not a natural bacteria, without being man-made.
Well, even if it's man-made, because it'll go up into the brain, well, there's nothing to stop it from just spreading throughout the brain and eventually killing the host. So even if it happens, the host is on a timeline on how long he's actually crazy, because the bacteria will keep going, because that's what bacteria does.
Even in a zombie apocalypse, I think there's the general impression that entropy would eventually mean they would rot away and it would end on its own eventually.
It's just that people keep getting bit in these zombies.
It would just take a while.
Yeah. I guess it just depends how fast the bacteria is spreading, I guess.
And people would also, in that scenario, people would get used to dealing with it. So, like, they would sleep in areas that are safer or have knives nearby to be able to deal with that type of thing.
I mean, I also don't, you'd have, the only way to cause an actual quote-unquote apocalypse is you'd have to somehow weaponize against an entire nation at once. Because, if these 10 people rise up and go murder crazy, they're going to be put down. And then there's no more zombies.
Well, I think the issue is it's subtle at first, and you wouldn't realize. You'd be like, "Haha, zombie apocalypse, yeah, right." And so the signs of it would be subtle at first.
Well, we're talking like we're gonna have to have like millions of people affected at the same
And
time.
see, that's where the whole zombie, like I said, the idea that we already know about zombies, we know how to deal with them comes in. Because in zombie movies now, the reason why the zombies are able to take over is because it's assumed that, this whole zombie apocalypse, even the word zombie, doesn't exist in their culture.
That's
So
the
they
conceit.
Yeah. So they don't know how. Thank you.
Mm.
So they don't know how to deal with it because it's not in their pop culture at all.
Well, we all know how to do
Exactly. So I still think it's feasible
That's fair.
because
That's a fair argument.
this hypothetical madman genius or mad group, whatever you want to call them, if they found some way to release the virus or whatever it is at the same time in some of the most densely populated cities in the country all at once, then you've attacked most of the population right then and there.
I don't think it would take as many as you're thinking, though. At least not on a small scale. Like if it was just in one mid-sized city, it would. If there were dozens or hundreds of people that were affected by it, the law enforcement would be overwhelmed. They wouldn't be able to deal with them all, and it would be able to spread.
Well, I don't even think it's going to be law enforcement.
I mean, regular citizens maybe, but I'm just saying.
No, because I get what you're saying.
Like,
but
they're hate-filled monsters. They're just going to go killing. Like, even in a city, if there's people just breaking into houses and breaking into restaurants and businesses, they're going to be put down.
Not everybody has a gun.
They're going to be put down.
Well, yeah, but if there's too many, that's what I'm saying.
You see, that's
it'll
why
quickly spiral out of control.
I see what you're saying, and that's true to a certain extent until the government gets involved and military comes in.
Right, but I'm just saying, by that point, it could be too late. It's
for that city or in the next two cities, but it wouldn't be too late for the whole country. Yeah. That's why I say you need to hit some of the biggest cities to get the most,
millions of people
all at once, and then that way you have enough to overwhelm not just local law enforcement but the government as well.
The other thing would be if it affects the morgues, because if the morgues have a bunch of bodies, then that could spiral.
But then we're talking about people come back from the dead.
I don't think. Well, no, the bacteria is spreading in the morgue.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But I don't think those people would be given a burial like that. I mean, like, I guess a few of them would be cut open to see what happened, but
well, their bodies would be burned.
Yeah, exactly. And so, unless it goes airborne when it's burned, it's done.
Well, that's the deal in Walking Dead. Everyone's infected.
Yeah, I don't think that's interesting.
I don't think it's feasible to infect.
Fascinating.
I think it's boring.
I don't think it's feasible to infect everyone all at once.
That it's latent. Well, in that scenario, I'm pretty sure it is airborne.
Being airborne is more interesting than everyone's infected.
Well, the fact that it's airborne means everyone is infected. Well, then airborne is boring.
No. Airborne, not everyone infected is interesting. Airborne, everyone infected is boring.
A mass scale zombie apocalypse that's airborne would mean everyone is infected.
Not necessarily.
Very quickly.
Yes, very quickly, but you could understand that it's airborne before it happens. Like the CDC would figure it out fairly quickly, and then people can take precautions. So then they're walking around understanding that if they don't have this gas mask on, they're dead. And they're taking precautions. That's an interesting survival scenario.
But they're not dead. That's the thing that makes it interesting.
Well, no, you know what I mean. Like if they don't have this stuff, then they're infected. That's interesting because then you are actively fighting against this thing. If it's just, oh, you're infected. Okay, let's move forward. I guess that's boring. To me, it's boring. If you're out there and you disagree, throw it out in the comments. Convince me it's not boring.
I love how we went from plants in space to zombies.
Zombies in space.
We were originally talking about exoskeletons too.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Interesting stuff.
I'm sorry, like I said, most of the input I have is pop culture related.
Hey, that's fine.
It's always, for me, it's always going to go back.
We're talking about The Walking Dead. That's pop culture. And like a lot of writers, they do converse, especially with like bigger shows like The Walking Dead. They do converse with professionals on disease control, and so they do learn a lot of the stuff. And so, like, a lot of the stuff in pop culture is accurate. Some of it's far-fetched because they have a story that they're trying to tell. But a lot of the stuff's accurate.
True.
Yeah.
Especially now. When early 2000s, 90s, it was more far-fetched.
Yeah.
But more recently, I mean, they try to be accurate. People like realism.
Wonder how a zombie apocalypse would work if it affected animals.
We'd all be dead.
So you don't think we'd all be dead if it affected humans, but we'd be dead if it affected animals?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine?
It's much harder to shoot a German Shepherd than it is a person.
Can you imagine how many strays?
Really? I don't think so.
No, yeah. Are you kidding me? German Shepherd's way faster. It's going to charge you much faster than a person.
He's not talking about emotional. He's talking about the actual.
Yeah, no, I'm talking like that German Shepherd is going to be on you quick.
Yeah. He's not talking about like people caring for their pets and it's hard to shoot their pets versus.
No, that would be horrible. But
Yeah.
have you ever seen the videos where like they're training the German Shepherds with the police people? And then
I've
they
seen,
sick them and
I've seen takedowns.
I mean, but you don't even need trained dogs. I mean, can you imagine how many strays?
No, these would be trained dogs, right?
No, but I'm saying like, if you got infected dogs, or if you got a virus that can infect dogs and cats, can you imagine how many strays are out there? They outnumber us at least 2 to 1. So I mean,
I wouldn't step outside.
Exactly.
It'd be horrible. Horrible. And like meat consumption's gone.
Right.
Gone.
That's true.
Hey, Gypsy.
And then we're dead.
I'm sorry.
Because the vast majority of people need proteins from meat to survive. Very few people can do vegan.
But if you see the
Sorry if you're out there and you think that you are. Very few people get all the nutrients they need from veganism. There's a reason 70% of vegans turn back to meat.
What was I gonna say?
I don't want anything happen to this Misha.
With the dogs thing, like I've watched videos of police takedowns where it's crazy how fast they're able to move.
They're so fast.
And like one particular instance,
And they're not actually attacking. Like they're trained for the takedown.
Right.
Once the guy's down, they just kind of latch onto the arm and stay there. They're not actually trying to kill the person.
Right. But like for instance, I was watching one police chase where the guy stopped his car and got out to keep running. It was like in a walk area, and the cop lets the dog out, and I mean they follow him, but the dog went at least twice as fast.
Oh.
And he like jumped like 4 feet to
the dog did?
Yeah, to grab the guy and put him on the ground. It was crazy.
That's great. Yeah, it's just once you get animals into the equation, it's nasty.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you're not even talking anything like a fly.
Like a fly.
You guys ever been to a beach and had seagulls annoy you?
Imagine they were actually trying to kill you.
Yeah. You're done.
Mine.
Yeah. You're crazy.
I'm really vicious.
I think we'd be okay against dogs like this.
I don't know.
You think you can defend yourself against Misha?
I don't.
If I had a gun.
She's a big soft.
Yeah, unless they're trying to kill you.
Nah, Misha talks a big game.
You could do it with a baseball bat would work pretty well. Like a baseball bat with
Her, you can just hold her down.
a baseball bat with nails.
Sometimes whenever we play and she gets a little too much, I literally just gently hold her to the ground and she is done. She just can't move.
Well, I'm talking about if there was zombified Misha.
I don't know, man. She's 16.7 pounds. I don't think she has enough oomph to be dangerous.
I mean, she could bite you.
She will. Yeah, I mean, her teeth are still teeth, so they're gonna hurt.
Yeah.
And if you're infected, then you're done for.
Yeah, I just think once it hits animals, we are in trouble.
I agree. That's where like the mad cow disease was really bad. Because then it could be transferred potentially to humans through consumption.
Yeah. I don't see a point where, because we just rely so much on animals, even in our culture, that you wouldn't be able to go anywhere.
No.
And that's not including wild animals, like deer. Deer are everywhere. Everywhere.
And we're talking animal. We're talking insects as well? Because then we're definitely in trouble.
Yeah, that's how a lot of disease and like bacteria and viruses
Yeah.
transfer is through like
Yeah.
mosquitoes and stuff.
And rats, mosquitoes,
And
rats,
this is why a
mice.
lot of zombie lore does not include animals. Because it'd be too quickly.
We would have no chance.
Yeah, it'd be way too quickly.
It's something like that. I mean, there are other diseases where we have successfully fought off.
Right.
Like we have successfully stopped the spread of the West Nile virus. You got to remember, whenever that was huge.
Right.
Well, that's also one of the reasons. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but whenever you take into something to scale that if something that bites turns into a zombie, you're done.
Well, that's one of the reasons why the Black Death was so bad in like Europe, was because it was transferred through rats and like other animals, and it just spread everywhere.
And also because they did not know how to treat it whatsoever.
Right.
There is
Yeah.
that.
They
And
didn't
also,
know
like,
cleanliness standards.
No, there was
Yeah.
no cleanliness. Rats were common.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people slept. There were rats near them when they slept. I mean, it was common. So
It was bad.
everyone was just exposed to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like a third of the population.
Third of the population.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You guys ever play that game? Crap, I can't remember the name.
Plague
of it.
Incorporated.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever played that game?
Yeah. Great.
Amazing.
Fun game.
Yeah.
Fun game to play.
Not
Yeah.
sponsored.
Not sponsored. It was fun, but I feel like once I beat it one time,
Yeah,
I got the full experience.
that's
but-
true to some
but-
degree.
You,
There's
but you-
different.
we have to try it like 10 times to beat it once. I mean, it's very difficult.
There's different types
The
of
CDC
infection.
is very good at stopping diseases.
Who knew?
It doesn't seem very realistic.
It did.
They've
Yeah, no,
they've
it's fair.
improved its realisticness.
It seemed very good. Whenever I played it, it seemed.
Oh yeah, it's
good.
only like $1 or something,
No.
so it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
It's not even a buck. You can download it for free on your phone.
Yeah, but I mean, I think
It's $1 for Android.
No.
Free on. Is it?
It's free.
I think you can pay in app for different viruses.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
Oh, yeah.
it's free to get like the basic, but you pay to get the more fun stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. Apparently, humans, we learned that diseases are bad, and we are very good at stopping them.
Mm-hmm.
It's so frustrating if you're playing with the disease.
I know, but there's a reason.
Well,
Polio,
I mean,
smallpox.
but that's
everything
also the
goes
reason.
on.
That's also the reason why it's not that realistic. I mean, one of the hardest places to get is Madagascar in that game. That's because apparently they only have one port of entry. Like,
Do people even live in Madagascar?
people live there.
Do people live there?
Mhm.
They have a high population?
No,
Do I just sound like an idiot right now on the internet?
maybe.
It's fine. That's not the first time. That's not the
It's
first
not
time.
unusual.
It's not unusual. It happens all the time.
But I'm just
There's
saying,
a lot of stuff I don't
in
know.
the game, the only way to access the country is through ships. But
You gotta start
that can't
there.
be true.
You gotta start on Madagascar. And never spread anywhere.
Too.
But Australia has the same issue. I mean, like, you can fly there, but it's just so far away
Yeah.
that once they shut off, you're done. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess.
The other problem is if it's isolated and the population gets reduced to 0, then you can't spread it.
So that's why the idea is to like no symptoms.
Bro, I did that one time and they still found the disease. And I'm like, how did you find this? There's no symptoms. None. There is literally no sign that anyone has this unless you get a blood test and you're like, what's that? Oh,
Hey,
it's doing nothing. Okay.
The CDC's good at what they do.
Oh, your potassium's slightly higher than normal.
Well, I mean, that may be a little realistic. If it's
no, I
something
think it is.
with
I
no
it
symptoms,
is.
but all of a sudden the CDC said millions of people have it.
Yeah, no, I think the CDC through blood samples would be like, that's not normal. But still. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's why annual checkups are so important, people.
Okay.
You have to slowly ramp it up though, because you need to be able to have people be affected so they can't actually deal with it.
So, like, that works very well in a game.
Right.
Creating a real virus that lies dormant forever and slowly ramps up would just be.
Or in a lab, that'd be terrifying though.
I just don't know if they can do it.
I mean, how do you know they haven't done it already? We just don't know.
I don't. But I assume if they did,
Flu's getting
you know
worse
where
and
it's,
worse every year.
you know where it's going to spread? The fast food chains.
Oh my goodness! Here
Specifically Hardee's.
Specifically.
Because they're going to be like,
Sorry.
the people that like that, we need to get rid of them.
Not as fun.
Apparently not.
If that wasn't obvious.
We need to do a taste test sometime of like some fast food places.
That would be awesome.
Do a blind taste test, and see where you guys
Ooh,
rank
a
them.
blind, that would be cool.
That would really be
We'll do
awesome.
that. We'll do that sometime.
Let's get like a hamburger from every place.
You can't look at.
Just throw in a chicken sandwich too.
You have to actually be blinded though, because you can tell what's in.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. Blindfolded,
No, it would be
and you guys take
blindfolded.
a bite. Yeah, no, I've got detailed. I'll put that in there.
It would be actual blind.
I'd like to do that. Yeah, no.
We'll see how Hardy's actually stacked up. I'd be very curious to see what you.
And I will laugh all the way to the bank when you rank Hardy's number one.
Yeah, over my dead body.
Hey, well, tell you what. In the future, we'll find out. It's been about an hour. Our hourglass is running low. Let's wrap it up.
It's not done yet.
That's fine. We'll go through the recommendations. That takes a little bit of time. Nathaniel, hit us with a recommendation.
Come back to me.
Okay, Nelson, hit us with a recommendation. Feel free to peruse my bookshelf again if you want.
Hardy's.
Oh
Recommended.
my
That's
God.
right. Go to
Oh
Hardy's,
my
people.
God.
Yes.
Come on.
That's about it for now. Also recommend you watch or read World War Z, like we mentioned earlier. Phenomenal book. Love it to death. I recommend anybody read it.
Okay, so if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, you would need to have seen Breaking Bad for this, but they recently released on Netflix a TV show El Camino. Not a TV show, it's a movie that's like a direct sequel, or it's kind of like an epilogue to Breaking Bad about Jesse Pinkman.
Never seen it.
If you've watched Breaking Bad, I highly recommend it.
Never seen it.
It's very, very good. Breaking Bad is generally considered a very good show, at least in terms of like the writing and whatnot. And this is a direct sequel to it that kind of completes the story, so to speak. Definitely recommend it for Breaking Bad fans.
I would recommend that you go read an opinion that is opposite of your own and consider their thoughts. For instance, if you are a Christian, go read the writings of a non-Christian or an atheist about why Christianity is wrong. Consider their thoughts. But also, if you're an atheist or something like that, read the works of Christianity and the arguments for Christianity and see whether or not you agree with that. I'm not trying to convert anyone here. I'm just saying you need to know the arguments of both sides so you can make an educated opinion. And also, it will help your thoughts and raise your intelligence because you're learning how to think things through.
It's so shallow. My response is so shallow.
And on a less serious note,
shallow right now.
On a less serious note, if you're one of those few people that really likes Hardee's for some reason, try another restaurant. Explain your horizons.
Or if you claim to hate Hardee's, I recommend you go to
Oh,
Hardee's.
it's not a claim. I genuinely dislike Hardee's.
Thank you all for watching. This has been Coffee Unfiltered. We'll see you next time.